And we kindly remind all speakers and presenters to stay within their time slots so we can maintain a smooth flow throughout the day. To start our special
내
May this performance give us samurai spirits. Now, we invite you to enjoy a traditional dance performance presented by our talented performers from Indonesia. Please welcome. I hope the two performances earlier filled us with spirit and energy. Now, we will move to our welcoming speeches session. Please welcome Assistant Professor Anggi Pradipta Junfitrana, SPDMT, General Chair of the Nusa Putra Global Conference. The stage.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished representative of the Indonesian Embassy, Education and Cultural Attaché, Your Excellency Mayor of Aizu Wakamatsu, the Honorable Representative of Aizu University, and then also the esteemed partner from the ITLTC conference series, the world-class keynote speaker from across continents, fellow researchers, academic, practitioner, and participant. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor as the General Chair of the Global Conference Nusa Putra University 2025 to welcome you all to this groundbreaking event hosted here at the Aizu University in Japan. This year, the conference held from April 22 to 26, 2025, with the first 2 days, 22 and 23 April, conducted on-site at Aizu University, and the remaining 3 days, 24 until 26 April, delivered by online. A blended model designed to reach broader audience while maintaining rich in-person engagement. This conference is more than a gathering. It's a powerful movement of ideas, a convergence of over 250 presenters from diverse institutions and countries across 6 parallel international conferences spanning computing, information system, engineering, law, management, and accounting, and also education and design. We unite under a shared mission to advance knowledge, foster innovation, and drive meaningful global impact. To our researchers, academic, and practitioners, your work over the next 5 days will shape the future. Through your Scopus Index research, open dialogue, and interdisciplinary partnership, this conference will become a launchpad for collaborative projects, transformative solutions, and policy innovation that know no borders. This event is collaboration with the ITLTC conference series, is part of a growing tradition. As an annual global series, this conference will rotate among nations. Next, potentially in Turkey on November 2025. And then could be in Europe, Africa, Americas, and beyond. Its venue over new lands and renews energy to our 6 core field. Through this continuous borderless format and a sustainable solution born here in Aizu may find its way to another city around the world. We envision an ecosystem of research and practice that transcends geography and serves humanity. We are also here to spark long-lasting international collaboration. I urge all participating universities, including Nusa Putra University, ICE University, and our global partners, to initiate like joint degree, faculty exchange, and also research hub in area like digital law, AI, sustainable engineering, and educational innovation. Let us imagine a future where students experience hybrid program blending with the ICE resilience with Indonesian community, driven design, and where our faculty co-author impactful grant and research that shift paradigm. Ladies and gentlemen, to ICE University, thank you for generously providing your facilities and for your exceptional planning and hospitality. Your contribution ensured the success of this global initiative. To our representative partner, the ITLTC conference series, thank you for being a bridge of sustainable collaboration. Chair of the ITLTC, Prof. Debo Prioroy, for your enduring support and vision in connecting scholars worldwide. To the Indonesian Embassy, your support embodies our shared commitment to strengthening academic diplomacy, and also to our keynote speaker and all presenters. Your patience and brilliance are the pulse of this conference. Let this conference be remembered not only for the inspiring discussion, but also for the tangible result it's produced, be it a prototype, a policy proposal, or a research alliance. May its season inspire every copy break, connect, and each collaboration bear long-term fruit. In closing, I am as General Chair. I am reminded of the Japanese proverb: a single arrow is easily broken, but not 10 in a bundle. Together, we are the unbreakable bundle. Let us unite in purpose, amplify our collective impact, and build a legacy of excellence for the next generation. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Angi, for the inspiring welcome. Now, we invite Mr. Samsul Fahmi, SPD, MPD, Vice Rector 1 of Nusa Putra University, to give welcoming speech.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, representative from the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Japan, official from the Fukushima Prefectural Government, and esteemed keynote speakers, and honorable member of the organizing committee, and all of the participants of the Nusa Putra Global Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the leadership and academic community of Nusa Putra University, I would like to extend our warm welcome to all of you. Your presence here is a great honor for us and a true reflection of our shared commitment to knowledge, innovation, and global cooperation. The Nusa Putra Global Conference is our annual flagship event, serving as a multidisciplinary platform where diverse ideas and perspectives converge from the fields of the science, technology, to law, business, humanities, and social science. This year, we are deeply honored to hold the conference in Japan, the country globally recognized for its remarkable advance in technology, education, and social resilience. We are sincerely hope that the idea, discussion, and research shared during this conference will not only enrich our academic discourse, but also contribute to creating a better and sustainable world. Let this be call to action for all of us to stay actively involved in Nusa Putra growing academic network through international collaboration, joint research, and future conference. Together, let us continue to shape the future through knowledge and shared responsibility. We would also express our deep gratitude to all of our partners and sponsors whose invaluable contribution have made in this conference possible. I wish you all respectful, successful, and inspiring experience throughout the conference. May it fill with fruitful exchange, new collaboration, and ideas that matters. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Samsul Fahmi, for the warm and encouraging words. For welcoming speech 3, we have Professor Dr. Amzul Rifin, SPMA, Educational Attaché from the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Tokyo. Please welcome Professor Dr.
Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's an honor for me to be present here in the beautiful place. You can see sakura outside, and I think this is the best time to see sakura in this place. I'm from Tokyo. In Tokyo, the sakura is already gone last week. So you're in a good place to see sakura and also to go to a conference. Distinguished guests from the Nusa Putra universities, the vice rectors, also from the ISU university, participants, and also the speakers from all over the world, distinguished speakers. Welcome to Japan. Welcome to, if you're the first time in Japan, I think this is the best time to visit Japan. The weather is not so hot and it's not so cold. And I think this place is a very good place to see Japan or to see the rural side of Japan. First of all, congratulations
Mayor of Aizu Wakamatsu. So please give a round of applause for the Mayor of Aizu Wakamatsu, please. So please.
We are now honored to hear from Mr. Sohei Murai, Mayor of Aizu Wakamatsu City. Mr. Murai, the stage is yours.
ご紹介いただきました、会津若松市長の室井でございます。メイヤーオブ会津若松シティ、翔平室井、どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。本日は ETLTC 国際会議シリーズにお招きをいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。ここ会津若松の開催地を代表しましてご挨拶を申し上げます。はじめに ETLTC 国際会議シリーズが、ここ会津若松で2日間、盛大に開催されますことを心よりお喜びを申し上げます。在日インドネシア大使館や国際協力の促進に注力されております、ヌサプトラ大学の皆様はじめ、各国の皆様を、会津若松市にお迎えし、本会議が開催されますことを誠に喜ばしく思っております。開催にあたってご尽力されました関係者の皆様に深く敬意を表しますとともに、改めて厚く御礼を申し上げます。本会議は教育やコンピューター科学、医療科学など様々な分野の最新の知見を学ぶことができる場であるとともに、国際的な視点からの議論が展開される場とお聞きしております。国際協力に対する高い意識の醸成が期待されるものであります。今回、本会議の会場となります会津大学は ICT を専門とする大学であり、2024年10月9日に発表されましたイギリスの教育専門誌であるタイムズ・ハイヤー・エデュケーションによる世界大学ランキング2025において、日本の大学で11位にランクインしておりまして、その国際性について特に高い評価を受けております。また、当市会津若松市でありますが、平成25年2月よりスマートシティ会津若松を掲げ、様々な分野で ICT を活用し、将来に向けて持続力と回復力のある力強い地域社会と安心して快適に暮らすことのできるまちづくりを目指しております。この間、会津若松市、会津大学、民間企業から構成されるICTコンソーシアムの3社で、スマートシティ会津若松の推進に関する基本協定を締結したほか、地域の業界団体の方々を構成員とするスマートシティ会津若松競争会議を創設するなど、地域が一体となった推進体制を構築し、さらなる発展を目指し、取り組みを進めてきたところであります。こうした中、各分野の第一線でご活躍されている多くの研究者の皆様が一堂に会し、最先端の研究成果の報告などが行われることは、誠に意義深いものと考えております。皆様におかれましては有意義な時間を過ごされますとともに、本会議の開催を契機として、今後の新たな共同研究や技術の発展につながることを心よりご期待申し上げます。結びに本日ご参会の皆様方の今後ますますのご健勝、ご活躍を心よりお祈り申し上げ、お祝いの言葉といたします。本日は誠におめでとうございます。
Yeah, and just one point here. Thank you very much for the speech. Thank you. Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
So I'd like to have all of you read the English translation, which has been handed out to you, please. So that will be easy. Thank you.
Next, we invite Professor Pai Kincheon, Dean of the School of Computer Science and Engineering, University of Aizu. The stage is yours.
So good morning, everyone. So I am Incheon Pak, Dean of Graduate School of the University of Aizu. So it is my great honor to give a presentation, especially introduction to the globalization and internationalization of university education, and especially about our university. So thank you so much to give me this great opportunity. Okay, so in here, please share the screen.
Thank you, Professor Pike, for your message. And now, please welcome Professor Kachi Yasuyuki from the University of Aizu, our esteemed keynote speaker, for a brief welcoming address.
I can do it without that. Hey, hello everyone. My name is Kachi. Nice to meet you. I'd like to thank the organizer, Professor Roy DiBaprio, for this speaking invitation. And this is the first scientific talk, and it will be brief. Unfortunately, there's a technical issue, and the slides are actually on the Zoom. So if you do have a laptop or other devices that so that you can view the Zoom, please do so. I'm zooming in, and I'm successfully currently right now at this moment. It appears that the file is successfully shared via Zoom. Thank you. So development and study of a new gen biological neural oscillator. So we have 3 brains. So when most people hear the word brain, they naturally think of an organ located in the head, right? So the brain processes information and commands body functions through a network of neurons. So a human body version of CPU would sum it all up when it comes to what our brain does. Well, physioneurologically, though, there are 2 other organs partially responsible for the control of body function, namely the heart and the gut. So each of the heart and the gut is equipped with a local controller that controls the function of the entire respective organ, a device that exchanges information and also fulfills the requests of the CPU. Am I on the right track? So I would like to therefore introduce 3 key terminologies. The term head brain is commonly used in reference to the brain. Furthermore, the terms heart brain and the gut brain are commonly used in reference to the local controller part of the respective organs. So excuse me, my bad. Head brain, first and foremost. Head brain governs cognition and perception and enables us to speak and communicate. So billions of neurons in the head brain help process information. So synapses, electrical impulses, and hormones work together interactively to facilitate that process. So this allows us to identify objects and patterns one associated with the heart that contains about 40,000 neurons that operate independently of the head brain. The heart brain can be considered our emotional brain, where emotion includes what we value in life and how we feel. So this is one scientific reasoning that supports the conventional wisdom that a healthy heart is necessary for a healthy mind. And then last, gut brain. The gut brain has 100 billion neurons and helps regulate hormones, metabolism, and blood pressure. The complexity of the gut brain is to the level that it processes information even while asleep. So the gut and the head brain constantly exchange messages. The direction of the gut being the sender and the brain being the recipient has much more traffic and about 400 more message types than the other way around. And the gut brain also plays a key role in our emotions. And almost 95% of our body's serotonin, our 5-HT, is found in the gut. Okay. So the brain, heart, and gut communicate primarily through electrical signals, known as action potentials, actually, both internally and with one another. So in computational electrophysiology modeling, these electrical signals are replicated using microscopic cellular models. It's a tongue twister. So among various available models, the Mitchell-Schaefer model currently stands out as the most effective microscopic model for creating personalized patient-specific macroscopic models, particularly for cardiac simulations. And patient-specific models of the heart, for example, are based on geometric structures, ladies and gentlemen, obtained from MRI scans and body surface electrocardiograms. Serves as the initial data. So the virtue key advantages of Mitchell-Schaefer or MS models: easy parameterization. Real biological cells generate action potentials, and computational models aim to reproduce these signals accurately. And one can easily adjust parameters to replicate the desired shape of an action potential. Also, computational efficiency in large-scale simulations. So also patient-specific macroscopic models for the whole organ study consist of tens of thousands of individual microscopic model cells, right? So challenges in clinical settings, the immensity of the scale of computational complexity with limited computing resources, and especially in clinical settings, like I said, it is highly beneficial to have a microscopic cell model that can accurately represent biological cells while facilitating the rapid development of macroscopic organ models, right? The real-time execution of patient-specific models can accelerate diagnosis and treatment planning, which is critical for patients in life-threatening or acute conditions. In such cases, prompt identification of the underlying cause of the disease and swift determination of optimal treatment options without delay can be vital to saving lives. So, well, actually, there are three types in electrophysiology. The behavior of cells is classified into three. Type 1 is oscillating or pacemaking cells. Type 2 is quiescent, excitable normal cells. Type 3 is threshold excitable null cells. Computational electrophysiology examines the interaction, which are primarily electrical, among the different cell types to describe an organ function. So computational electrophysiology is an interdisciplinary field that lies at the intersection of medicine and computer science, analyzing living organisms and predicting electrophysiological processes in organs. So most studies in brain physiology and neural systems, particularly those that have bearing zone type 3 cell, threshold excitable cells, adopt the so-called the Fitzhugh-Nagumo model, which is mathematics, which serves as an archetype for neuron-like excitable systems. My colleagues, my internal colleagues, Professor Ben Abdallah and Professor Dan, their paper, Neuromorphic Computing Principles and Organization, published from Springer 2022, is the main reference, one of the main references. So the FHN system exhibits a response action potential when the external stimulus current exceeds a certain threshold value. That limitation of the FHN Fitzhugh-Nagamot system presents an argument against its application in multi-organ models. However, such shortcomings can be addressed by implementing the modified MS model. So anticipated solutions build complex heart-brain, gut-brain, and hybrid multi-organ models in anticipation of their potential applications for personalized patient models that combine interaction between all three types of cells, not just one. So use type 3 cells in neural systems or circuits that represents a network of neurons to enable the efficient processing of information. So use theoretical mathematical solutions, modified MS model equations. We anticipate being able to predict the behavior of type 1, 2, and 3 in that model in advance of computer simulation. Well, several simplified phenomenological cell models, including the Hodgkin, Huxley, and Fitzhugh-Nagamot equations, have been used to simulate neural systems. A limited number of variables, typically 2. That trend is followed by a team of researchers. Lynch, have you ever heard of the name Stephen Lynch? The same person who wrote a book about introductory book about the Python. And his company working at 3 universities all in UK, including the University of Cambridge. They are currently developing a biological neural model reproducing synaptic excitation and inhibition. They have created both mathematical and computational models of simple neurological binary circuits based on FHN equations. So 3 more lines to go. Application, we anticipate application in binary logic. Yet another mathematical theme. Simplistic neural logic could be employed to assess the functionality of disease circuits subjected to certain drugs. Potentially benefit the future study of neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yasuyuki, for incredible knowledge that you share with us about the brain. We now welcome Professor Tatsuki Kawaguchi, Director of the International Office, University of Aizu.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Buongiorno. Oh, guten Morgen. That's how. That's what I know about actually the greeting from all over the world. And I'm here to introduce about our university, but we have technical issues. And as you know, we have short memory. Tomorrow, 50% will be gone. You're here at the University of Aizu. I would like you to enjoy, and also I have some information to be remembered. So actually, let me do, this is actually a welcome speech, but I have changed the contents of what I'm going to talk about. So please actually imitate me and clap your hand, okay? So please actually look at me and please clap your hands, okay? Let's actually 1, 2, 3. It's very difficult, isn't it? You have to read my mind. So you have to have actually thinking actually skills and also problem solving. Why this Kawaguchi is asking us to do so, and you have to have the creativity and innovative one. So since we don't have actually PowerPoint, it's very difficult for me to actually show our university uniqueness on a slide. But I can actually communicate via actually talking to you. So that is very, very important. So please actually stress your back. I know you had a long flight and also long trip. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is more important too. Your initiative, and actually I'm asking you to do so. So this is very, very important. Drive to take actions. So please actually raise your hand again and remain your right hand. And show me your favorite number from 1 to 5. Okay, 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3. Go. And please look around. I'm sure everybody has a almost same number. Well, could you please tell the neighbor why you have that number? Right, thank you so much. I think you find something interesting. So this is very, very important because we are not actually working alone. We are working with a team. And you have to have actually flexibility and you want to understand about us. We have to have actually situational awareness and also discipline. And every day we have so much stress and we have to have stress-free as well. So those actually skills are very, very important. And also university, understanding diversity and also the different culture is also important. And our life extended to more than actually 100 years, not 100 years. We live actually 100 years and we have to consider that actually our second life, what we can do for the futures as well. So this university is established in 1993 as first solely dedicated to computer science and engineering. As you know, computer science and engineering, we can apply many different ways. And also, that's very important. And in the morning, you saw actually summarize performance. And this city is also actually called smart city. So we want to use ICT to change this world. ICT is actually the tool to change this society. So that's very, very important. And our mission is to advance knowledge for humanities. And we are very, very unique. And do you happen to know the meaning of aizu? If you can read actually Chinese character or kanji, you can understand. Aizu means many rivers get together. So in actually all days, merchandise and also the knowledge. And this university is very keen to high-edge technologies too. So when we started ICT University, we actually aiming for the globalizations. So when we started our university, we had 60% of faculty members from all over the world, and we are looking for the innovation, entrepreneurship. And 14 years ago, we had a big earthquake. So we are looking for the revitalization as well. Although we are a very small university, we have very unique faculty members and also students all over the world. So we are recognized, highly recognized Times Higher Education, and we are very high ranked, 601 to 801 in the world. And we have the globalizations, and we have a strategy, and we have partnership university from 20 different countries and 130. Yes. So when we established our university, we had a globalizations. So we have actually stage, and we are selected as a top global university, 34 out of 796 universities. So we are very high status, and we got actually evaluation as A. So we are having the goals and also strategic way to accept students from all over the world and dispatch students to the world. Next, please. So this is actually partner universities in different countries, 112 universities in past 30 years. But most important part is what kind of actually collaboration, what we can do. And we have done so many student exchange, and as Professor Peck and Professor Kachi mentioned, it's very, very important for us to have a tight relationship. Next, please. And this is actually it's very unique. In Japan, usually international student, university, but our university is very high number of international students. And we have 5 Indonesian students. And it's very, very important for us to have diversity, inclusion, and also understand each other. So importance of global strategy and partner with ICT. As I mentioned, ICT is a tool. How we can connect and face-to-face interaction and also get to know each other. This is very, very important. So we are here, ETLTC and the global conferences, and you have expertise. For example, law, public policy, and also economic management and accounting. And I don't think you can live without ICT. So using ICT to automate or making life better. And our university is actually specializing on the integration, technical communication, and education. So we can find a way to actually collaborate. This is an example of the actual partnership with the German university. And I see the professor right there. He actually visited us constantly. So we know each other. And he brought a lot of actually students from Germany, and we dispatch students. Those actually responsible collaboration is very, very important. And we can expand this actual collaboration to the world. So movement of each person's mind and skill set, that's actually movement of the community. And you're here at the University of Baizu. It's a good chance for you to learn about this university, not only the university, but also the culture and also the people as well. So since we have a lot of actually students, I put this one as in the last minutes. So you want to develop specialized knowledge and experience in your expertise. But most important part is to get to know people. And you realize, oh, this is what I don't know about myself, or this expertise. So I want to learn about more. So this is a great chance for you to actually expand your network in the world. So as to the world, we are disseminating and also sending more information. And we are inviting students from researchers from the world. Last but not least, this is actually old saying. I like the old saying of the actually 3 error, but this is another one. Aizen Sanaki. So maybe you stay away from your family, so you cry first time. But if you get to know about people in Japan and you feel that one people, you cry second time, and you don't want to leave in ISIS as a third time. So we try to make international students or visitors or researchers to make feel like this to love Japan. Okay. Right, thank you so much for your listening.
Thank you, Professor Kawaguchi. Lastly, our welcoming speech. Let us welcome Professor Ben Abdelaziz, Undergraduate Dean of Computer Science at the University of Baizu.
Mike. I think we'll have to take a short break because Professor Ben Abdurazek, the Dean of Undergraduate Studies at the University of ISU, will soon be joining us. He has a class. So this is the first semester at the University of ISU, and it's a very busy time of the year. So we have full classes, so he will just arrive from the classes. He just finished, so please give us some time. Thank you for your patience.
So we'll have 5-minute break. Nazir, Undergraduate Dean of Computer Science at the University of Aizu. Please welcome Professor Ben.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So thank you very much for coming to this conference. My name is Ben Abdallah Abdelrazak, and I am the Dean of the Undergraduate School. So I'd like to thank Professor Debo for inviting me. It's an honor for me to talk with you. And I guess Professor Pike, who spoke before me, and Professor Kawaguchi also talked about this university. So before I go into my official speech, I'd like to say a few words about the University of Aizu. I have time, right?
Yes.
So this university, as you maybe heard, is a kind of international university. So we have about 1,200 students. 40% of our faculty members are foreign people like me, and 60% are Japanese colleagues. Our curriculum is English and Japanese. So we have English curriculum meaning for undergraduate students to undergraduate student to the PhD degree. This university is quite unique in Japan because it was the first university especially majoring only in computer science. So we started computer science in here, and we are very well respected in Fukushima area and also in Japan. We are a super global university. Japanese government made what they call it SUU, or super global university. They selected some universities, and we are one of them. We just finished our SUU project, and we got, by the way, evaluation A from Next, which means we are performing very well in terms of education and research. And what can I say also? We can say something about research. Maybe Professor Pike talked about research. We are cluster-based research. We have research on robotics, on space, on high-performance computing, software development, embedded system, computer system, logic circuit design, and many, many more. Our students' population, we have about 10 to 12% coming from foreign countries, mostly from Asia. And yeah, so that's what I'd like to say about our university. And now please allow me to read my official speech, which I prepared. So good morning, everyone. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome all of you to the University of Aizu as we proudly host the ETLTC NPU Global Conference Series. On behalf of our faculty, students, and administrative team, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all of you, distinguished researchers, educators, industry professionals, and students joining us from across Japan and overseas. This gathering today is not just another academic event, it is a celebration of global collaborations, interdisciplinary exploration, and the power of knowledge to transcend borders. As many of you know, our University of Aizu was founded on a strong belief that advanced knowledge in computer science and information technology can empower not only individuals, but entire communities. We stand for internationalization of education and research. And events like this conference are perfect illustration of how we turn those beliefs into reality. Recently, we have seen an ever-growing demand for education institutions to not only teach and conduct research, but also to act as catalysts of international cooperation. Conferences such as this conference, very important conference, are centered to that mission, to our mission, by bringing together voices from different regions, perspectives, and academic traditions. We are reaching the research discourse and building bridges between institutions, countries, and cultures. This kind of globalization is not abstract. It is tangible. It is visible in the point research papers that emerge, in faculty members who design new cross-border curricula, and in students who gain the confidence to collaborate across languages and different time zones. This conference represents a living example of this event, with participants from diverse range of disciplines such as computer science, mathematics, business, and other allied fields. We are experiencing a true interdisciplinary and international exchange. We have already begun to see ripple effect of these collaborations, joint research project between ISU, university, and ICONEXION and international partners, hybrid online and on-site conferences, teaching exchanges, and even student startup initiative born out of idea exchanges in setting like this one. Let us not forget one of the most important stakeholders in this entire ecosystem, which is our students. For them, a global conference like this one and held here in ISU is a gateway, an open door to the world. And beyond the academic community, events like this one have a meaningful impact on the local region. The community here in ISU benefit from the visibility, culture exchange, and economic activity that such international gathering bring. We are proud that our university continues to serve as a bridge between local aspiration and global engagement. As we celebrate the success of today's conference, I'd like to strongly encourage all partner universities and institutions and those considering joining us in the future to continue supporting this initiative. Let us think beyond this one event. Let us work toward creating sustainable or sustained academic partnership. We hope that the momentum, thanks to ETLTC and Nusa Putra University and other stakeholders, I truly appreciate the time, effort, and dedication of Professor Roy Debo in organizing such a remarkable conference. I believe his leadership and commitment will make it an enriching experience for everyone involved. In closing, I want to express my deepest appreciation to the organizing committee, the ETLTC leadership, our partner at Nusa Putra University, and all participant institutions that have helped bring this vision to life. Your commitment to quality, openness, and collaboration is what makes this conference series a success. Thank you once again for being here, and I wish you all an engaging, productive, and good time in ISU Wakamatsu City. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ben, for your meaningful welcome. To conclude this opening session with joy and pride, and recharge our spirit, let us now enjoy performance from our talented Indonesian artists, Sandi Dea Cahyo Narpati and Dia Nova Putra with Remo Dance from East Java.
Everybody rasandang pangan warasan. Good morning, everybody. Good evening to I hope you guys enjoy our performance. And I hope you guys sleepy. We are so sleepy. The day, the sun, but the weather's still. Enjoy your performance.
Before we enter keynote session this morning, we would like to take a moment to express our appreciation to our distinguished guest and keynote speaker for their valuable contribution to the success of Nusa Putra Global Conference Japan Series. Please join me on stage, Professor Ibu Roy, representative of ETLTC, Professor Ben Abdullah Razak, representative from University of Aizu, Professor Mutu Tukulokwa from University College London, our keynote speaker, and also our Indonesian artist, Sandidea, Mas Sandidea, monggo Mas. We would like to present a token of appreciation in the prop, and the flags will be presented by Mr. Anggi Radita Pitrana, General Chair of Nusa Putra Global Conference, accompanied by Vice Rector 1, Mr. Samsul Fahmi, Vice Rector 2, Dr. Nuni, and Vice Rector 3, Mr. Muslim. Please join me on the stage. Thank you so much for your efforts to make this conference for us. Please give applause. Okay, communication. Please close to the photograph, please. Please stay remain on the stage. Please join me on the stage. The representative of Indonesian Students Association in Japan, Mr. Prima Gandhi, as a chairman of Indonesian students in Japan. Professor Sancha and Professor Maris Sulaiman. Please join me on the stage. After this, we will take photo session on the stage. Please remain on the stage. For all of you, if you need information about study and living in Japan, don't hesitate to contact us in Indonesian Student Association Japan. You can catch us on Instagram, PPI Japan, and also Facebook and Twitter. Now we will go to photo session. Kindly ask your Professor Roy, to join me on the stage. And please press the screen. Please. Please face the screen because we will take the photograph from the participant. I kindly ask to face the screen so we can take picture. Yes.
Jadi kayaknya dia.
Professor Yasuyuki, please join us.
Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Once more. Say it. 1, 2, and 3.
Freestyle maybe? Freestyle? No? Velocity?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much. We will now proceed to our keynote presentation session delivered by Professor Lucu Koropa from University College London, UCL, United Kingdom, UK. And this session will be moderated by Dr. Baris Sulaiman from Hamad bin Khalifa University, Qatar. Please, welcome.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you so much. This is all. So I believe I'm introducing Professor Kukurova, who is at the University College London in the UK. Professor Kukurova is a professor of learning and AI at UCL, within the Faculty of Education and Society, the Department of Culture, Communication and Media. He leads the UCLA team and teaches the design and use of AI in education module as part of the MA Education and Technology program. His research focuses on integrating AI and analytics to support human learning, with a particular interest in computational modeling, collaborative learning, and complex problem solving, aiming to prepare individuals for a rapidly changing world. Beyond academia, Professor Kukurova is actively involved in policy development related to digital technologies in learning, having served as an external expert for organizations such as UNESCO, the IAEA, and EU working groups. He also holds editorial positions, including editor for the British Journal of Education Technology and associate editor for the International Journal of Child-Computer Interaction. His scholarly contributions include publications on teachers' trust in AI-based educational tools and professional development in the AI era. And he's currently engaged in research funded by the UCL Cornell Global Strategic Collaboration Awards, exploring responses to AI tutors in education. So please welcome.
Thank you very much, Ben, for this brilliant introduction. Should I do the presentation here?
Sure. And I'll also drop it in there.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Okay. Morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this kind invitation and the brilliant introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's a tough act to do this talk on various fronts. First of all, it's always very difficult to do a talk right after an amazing performance. I know the expectations are quite high at the moment, so I'll try to satisfy some of them. Second, it's really difficult to give a talk to an audience who's coming from various different disciplinary backgrounds. Although AI is a very hot topic and extremely popular these days, considering the various backgrounds of people here, I wasn't really sure what to talk about. So I tried to pull together a talk that I'm hoping some information relevant to at least some of you, and you will be able to get some insights out of it. My particular background is in engineering, but I did my PhD in Masters and Masters in Learning Sciences, so I've been looking at applied AI in education throughout my career. Great. Let me try to start by giving a basic information about the AI improving performance. As you'll all be familiar, AI has been increasing in its performance in recent years. And a good colleague of mine, Human-Centered AI in Education Center in Stanford, has been publishing these AI index reports every year. The most recent version, a couple of weeks ago, has been released. And there are really interesting insights in this report every year. And this year, one of the most striking ones was indeed the fact that AI performance continues compared to various benchmarks that have been used to measure AI performance. I put the graph that they have put in their report, looking essentially at the performance of recent AI models in comparison to a human baseline. And one of the really interesting insights here is that, as you can see, in most years, in most of the benchmarks, recent AI models are actually outperforming humans. This is really interesting because a lot of the benchmarks are not really only traditional benchmarks like computer vision or image classification, but they also have benchmarks like the science question answering, and you can see that the recent models are outperforming humans on PhD level science questions. Obviously, these kind of impressive developments have significant implications for education. I find it very fascinating and exciting in certain senses, but I also find it quite scary because every single time we advance in AI in a way that it does something that we thought to be uniquely human, we lose a part of ourselves because we are letting an AI model to take charge of this particular task that we used to thought as a uniquely human task. This kind of reminds me of the thought experiments of Democritus. Democritus was making these thought experiments about matter, and he was saying that you can think about matter and cut it in half, and cut it in half, and cut it in half, and at some point you will reach a point that you cannot cut the matter anymore. And he called this point the indivisible, atoms. The concept of today's scientific concept of atom actually comes from these thought experiments initially. So when I think about these kind of ideas and look at the performance of AI overtaking various tasks of humans, the core question that I wonder about, and I think we should all be asking to ourselves, is what is the core of a human that we cannot cut away anymore? Where do we draw the boundary of an AI development to say that this area is actually a net human area and we should not be automating any of these tasks in this particular region? To a certain extent, this is quite a philosophical question, and I really enjoyed the first one of the first talks where the the brain of a head, brain of a heart, and the brain of a gut were discussed. It's an interesting proposition because to some of my colleagues, when I look at these kind of questions and ask them, the answer is nothing, because for them, human body might actually be considered as a Turing machine, and you can potentially automate all of these processes. But when I ask the same question to my colleagues who are coming more from social sciences and humanities, then their responses tend to be quite different. It's a philosophical question, but the question also has various implications that are quite pragmatic with regards to the future of education. Because the answers that we would be giving to this question also are associated with the answers that we would be giving to the question of what we should be educating people about. And also, what should the role of an AI system be in education? In my own research, I have been conceptualizing AI deployment in education in three categorizations driven by the extended cognition theory, particularly looking at AI as an opportunity to externalize human cognition to replace particular human tasks, thinking about AI or computational models as opportunities to be presented back to humans for humans to internalize these computational models to change their own representation of thought, this internationalization, internalizing conceptualization. And the third conceptualization, which is the use of AI as an opportunity to expand human cognition as part of a tightly coupled human-AI synergistic systems. Now, within the third conceptualization, I want to highlight a couple of points. One of them is that these systems should be synergistic in the sense that the emergent intelligence should be larger than the sum of agents' intelligences. Therefore, you would expect a change in humans or a change in AI itself. And in education, we actually have a particular direction of change that is expected from these interactions. Because if the emergent intelligence is synergistic, and the human intelligence change is towards a negative direction, that's not necessarily a bright future for education. So we want the change in humans to happen towards a particular direction, which is an increase through amplification of their own competencies. If you try to map these three conceptualizations on Ben Schneiderman's two coordinates of human control versus automation through AI, perhaps you could consider the most traditional educational technologies as low automation and low human control systems. And if you look at the first conceptualization, then these would be the human tasks automated with highly automatable AI systems in which there is limited human agency in the system. It looks like when we look at the practice of these conceptualizations, currently, unfortunately, most of the AI in education implementations are utilizing AI for human task replacement rather than other two conceptualizations. I put here one a recent study from the Department for Education in the UK by the government, looking at over 700 stakeholders trying to understand across the UK how AI is used by practitioners in education. And you can see there is nothing surprising here. Most of these activities are associated with finding activity ideas, creating practice questions, mock exams, generating materials for particular age groups, are essentially all human task replacement implementations. Of course, we are scientists, and we are very rarely impressed by these kind of survey studies where the static information is provided by practitioners. So I wanted to also show you an example from a recent report that is published by Anthropic AI, which is one of the major AI companies across the globe. And they looked at 4 million conversations of people with their cloud AI model. And they were looking at what kind of professions, to what extent are using AI in their particular context. And they identified a few really interesting insights. One of them is that they found that 4%, approximately 4% of the professions are actually using AI for over 75% of their everyday professional tasks. And that is quite an optimistic measure because most of the reports that are coming from the estimations with regards to how many percentage of the professions will be automated have actually significantly higher percentages proposed. So it looks like only 4% of the professions are actually heavily using AI for automating particular tasks. Do you have any guess what might be these professions are? Just shout out some names because I can see at least 60% of the audience is sleeping, so I would like to encourage a little bit more interactivity. Yeah, you can shout, please. Hey, say it again. Teacher. Wow, that is a really interesting shout, and it's not really the one that comes up first, but yes, interesting the teachers were in this particular category, to my surprise as well. When I ask this question, usually the professions that people are shouting are software engineers, lawyers, or people who are essentially using most of their tasks to generate content. But teachers were not really coming to people's mind. But very interestingly, teachers are actually one of these professions that were identified to be using AI for almost 25% of their tasks. I would like to highlight here that this is a particularly subject-specific teacher, a language teacher, so they did not necessarily generalize these findings into all teachers. But to me, it's a really interesting finding, and a little bit worrying that teachers are using the AI for the majority of their tasks. In the report, they also highlight what percentage of the interactions can be categorized as automating human tasks versus what percentage of the activities can be categorized as augmenting human capabilities. And they are optimistically reporting about 57% of these interactions, the 4 million interactions, to be augmentative, and about 43% to be automating particular tasks. But if you look at the specific labels that they have used to make these distinctions, actually you can see that it's quite flawed in the sense that, for instance, they are categorizing every single time a person asks a question to the model, can you explain gravity to me? They were labeling these as augmentative behaviors, but we all know from the learning sciences that such questions are very unlikely to lead to effective or deep learning for humans. And I would probably categorize these as automating questions as well. For me, the most interesting part is this 2.8% category of the 4 million conversations, where the humans were creating particular drafts and some ideas, and then putting this into the AI, and iteratively asking AI to help them develop their own ideas. And then these could potentially be labeled as augmentation interactions. Of course, these kind of interactions are not necessarily limited to text media. The various other media have also been used in terms of improving efficiency and effectiveness in education. One of the really popular ones are AI-generated synthetic videos. In my own lab, we have been investigating the potential of AI-generated synthetic media for various learning gains and learner experiences. So we have done multiple experiments of professors recording their own lectures, putting them on the Moodle or other LMSs, versus the same content being delivered with an AI-generated synthetic media as part of the same pedagogy where the direct instruction was taken. Do you have any guesses? How many people think that me recording my videos on Moodle versus the same content that I want to deliver is delivered with AI compared in terms of learning gains? How many people think that the human videos will achieve higher learning gains? Can I see some hands? Okay, no one is interacting, that's great. How many people think that it would be AI-generated synthetic media achieving higher learning gains? 1, 2, okay. Is it my accent? It's probably my accent, right? I have a thick accent, and when I ask this question to my students, they are usually saying that AI-generated synthetic media will do better because you have an accent, which is fair enough. These models do not have an accent. It's really interesting because we have been doing these multiple experiments with 50 students, 100 students, and 500 students. And in all of our studies, we have shown that in terms of learning gains on recall, so open-ended questions, and learning gains on recognition, we found no statistically significant difference in terms of the students' learning gains. We also found no statistically significant difference in terms of the learner experiences at the affective level. Actually, these videos are not so good that most of the students were not even able to realize whether it was a real video or if it was an AI-generated synthetic media. and we are using a UCI spin-off company like Google DeepMind, another UCI spin-off company. We are using Synthesia to generate these videos. If you're interested in using similar approaches, I would strongly advise you or suggest you to have a look at their products that are extremely relevant. Another really interesting implementation space is to use generative AI for helping educators and lecturers and professors with regards to their feedback practices. If you ask most of the teachers how do you spend most of your time, they will tell you that I spend most of my time doing marking and generating feedback. So that's a really important area to focus with regard to the use of AI to support lecturers and teachers. So at UCI, we have been running various experiments on this. Each student assignment question and the student response. In this particular experiment, we were generating 3 different feedbacks: AI-generated feedback, human lecturer-generated feedback versus the human and lecturer working together, which is the co-produced feedback. And then we were asking students about their reflections and evaluations of these 3 different types of feedback. And each one of these, afterwards, we were revealing the original source of the feedback, whether it was AI-generated, human-generated, or co-produced, and asking students if they would like to revise or change any of their evaluations of the quality of these feedback. I would like to put here a couple of results from these experiments, which I think are quite interesting. Well, first of all, it's quite clear that we can still see a strong bias against AI. So if the students do not really know the original source of feedback, they tend to judge the credibility of AI-generated feedback quite low compared to the human-generated or co-produced feedback. So this strong bias does exist. But students are really struggling to be able to identify the original source of feedback. So here you can see the success rates of students to be able to detect the original source of feedback. And you can see that they are about 20% to 60%, which highlights that the quality of these AI-generated feedback is so good that most students are actually not even able to tell whether it is AI-generated or human-generated feedback. We found some statistically significant correlation between the students' years of experience of using AI versus their ability to detect the original source of feedback, but they were still quite low in terms of the average success rate. Perhaps more interestingly, when we look at the quality evaluation of this feedback with regards to genuineness, objectivity, and usefulness, the AI-generated and co-produced feedback were statistically significantly higher than the human-generated feedback. To me, that's really interesting because when we started interviewing the lecturers and the teaching assistants to be able to identify why students might actually be preferring the AI-generated feedback, it has become quite clear that those people were under too much pressure to generate certain amount of feedback under such short amount of time that they were actually not able to spend enough amount of effort into the creation of good quality feedback. And it was also very interesting to see when we revealed the original source of feedback, it was only the genuineness dimension that was then changed by students that was dropped. But the other 2 dimensions of the feedback quality with regards to objectivity and usefulness were kept as it is. To me, I think it goes now without saying that AI can indeed provide significant productivity gains. And all of these results that I have just presented indicate towards this direction that you can save time with the use of AI in education. But qualitative improvements with regards to the work that has been produced by teachers actually require significant scaffolding still from experts to the human users in order to be able to observe any potential changes in the quality of practice. And this is yet to be evidenced at a scale. Now you might say that, okay, that's great, you have been only showing the experiments from your own lab. Yes, I was mainly highlighting the studies from my own lab that I'm directing, but I also would like to highlight that similar results are emerging across the globe from different labs, as well as independent randomized controlled trials So I put here an ICT that has been implemented in the UK with 68 representative schools, and their results essentially showing that teachers who use AI save about 31% of their preparation time, but there was no statistically significant with regards to the quality of the material that the teachers are generating with the help of AI. Now, you might say that, okay, it's great, Professor. Even if only we are using AI to save time, that is good enough argument to use generative AI in education. And I would agree with this because we could do many other things with the amount of time we are saving from teachers. But I would like to highlight a couple of challenges that still exist in the field that we should be bearing in mind and think about what are we potentially losing by only using AI for the efficiency gains. And one of the significant challenges, I think, is associated with the fact that these models are indeed performance-wise improving, but the fundamental problems about their hallucination and their reliability and sensitive entity issues are not being resolved. And I'm not pretty sure if we will be able to resolve these problems using the same transformer architectures unless we have a paradigm shift in the way that we train these large language models. And one of the really interesting points to highlight here is also the fact that all of these benchmark studies that we have been looking at are benchmarking issues that are more appropriate for NLP developments, but there is no specific benchmark when it comes to the particular pedagogical quality of AI-generated content. Another really important issue is associated with the fact that these models have still various biases embedded in them. Of course, you can think about biases in so many different terms. One of the obviously very significant ones are explicit gender biases. And if you have explicit gender bias in these models, you can easily patch the model with certain approaches. But if you have implicit biases embedded in these models, then it's a very difficult problem to be addressed. I put here one of these examples of the implicit biases that are very difficult to be addressed computationally. So here you can see that teachers who are using a large language model and asking large language model to generate a reference letter for their students. And if the same model is asked to generate a reference letter for a male student, it tends to use very different adjectives than the same model where it is asked to generate a reference letter for a female student. You can see that for the female students, the model uses these adjectives of communication skills, being very easy to communicate with others, or their ability to be liked a lot by the other members. But when for the male students, the same model uses those leadership skills of scientific rigor or well-rounded personality. So these kind of biases that currently exist within the society and in our languages are by default embedded in these large language models, and whenever they are used in educational practice, they do create and reflect. So we have to be very careful not to exacerbate these biases by the use of generative AI. Another really significant issue from my point of view with the researcher in this area is the fact that most people still are relying upon commercial AI tools in their educational practice. And commercial AI tools have significant problems associated with the cost and licensing fees, privacy and data security, control and customization, and the very least, the issues that are associated with the sustainability and environmental impact of training these large language models. So in my lab, we have been focusing on the potential of using relatively small language models that we have been training in our own hardware within the UCI facilities that are performance-wise on particular educational tasks like question generation comparable to commercial large language models, but can be run on mobile phones even in low resource contexts. This line of work where academic research is leading small language model development that can be performance-wise comparable is extremely important, not to leave all of these AI generation activities to the hands of commercial stakeholders. Another issue is associated with the fact that these models can indeed be used for standardized education. Regardless of where the model is developed, every single model has various values that are embedded into the model based on the values of people who are training these models. So, for instance, for the DeepSeek model that is based in China, there are certain issues that you can talk about, and there are certain other issues that you cannot talk about. If you ask the ChatGPT, for instance, to generate an image of a mother, the image that it would generate would be the mother of a very Western, value-driven image. Now, that is not necessarily bad or good. It's about recognizing the fact that there are certain values that drive these models, and to what extent these models and their values are aligned within our own culture and our own educational values should always be questioned. I am not really sure how much of this mother is representative of your mothers in Indonesia, but I know across the globe there are so many mothers who do not really look like this. So what values are driving these models will be the values that are driving our education systems if we move toward the direction where these models are replacing various teacher tasks. Therefore, various value decisions will be made by models instead of the teachers who might be representative of the local culture. There's also this issue about the teacher deprofessionalization, which is this idea that if you are letting generative models to do and replace particular teacher tasks, what are the long-term implications of this replacement on the teacher's professional capabilities? For instance, if you let an AI model to do all the formative feedback generation, what is the teacher's capability? What is the impact on the teacher's capability of generating feedback, I think should be a very bad question. Because when a teacher generates feedback, you do not only generate feedback, you need to understand the particular strengths and weaknesses of your students. And all of these are very much intertwined competencies and skills that should be approached and functioned before we move towards an automated direction. There is also this issue of automating very poor practices in our education systems. You know, in the UK, we do a lot of user studies in the educational context, and I always ask students and teachers, what do you want AI to do for you? You know, you're a teacher, what do you want AI to do for you as a teacher? And the teachers are oftentimes telling us things like, you know what, I have so many essays to mark, and I want an AI to do the marking for me. Great. And then you go back to students, and then you ask them, well, what do you want AI to do for you as a student? And most of them, they complain about the fact that they have so much homework, they have so many assignments, so they are saying that I want an AI to do all of the essays for me, so I don't need to do all of the homework. So if you think about a user-centric design and development of AI, where you are trying to address all of these needs of the users, in a dystopian future, you might actually end up in a situation where students are using AI to generate particular assignment responses or essays. Teachers are using other AI to do the evaluations of these particular AI-generated essays. So AI is heavily used in education, but nobody actually learns. And nobody actually gathers the satisfaction of flourishing a particular person. This is a poor practice of education system, that we give way too many homeworks, that we give too much work to teachers to do the marking, and automation should not address these kind of poor practices. Automation should aim for innovation in our education system. This, of course, requires a change in our education systems to move away from these whole outcome-driven assessment systems and towards more process evaluations. And at UCI, we have been practicing some of these process evaluations. For instance, in my own teaching, whenever I give an essay writing assignment to my students, instead of only looking at what they produce at the end, we actually ask them to write these essays on a digital environment, and we are looking at the interaction of how to generate this essay in order to be able to model with time series analysis of what kind of competencies do they actually develop as part of the essay writing process. fascinating that although many of us are interested in process-driven competencies, very few of us are actually evaluating the processes of our students that lead to particular outcomes. I've been teaching at UCI for over 15 years now, and I'm yet to receive one particular essay that I look and I think, oh my God, this is a fascinating outcome. I should go and publish this particular outcome. That will change the world. The outputs have very little value to us as educators. We give these assignments because we expect teachers to develop and students to develop particular competencies through engaging with these assignments. So we should be looking at these kind of process evaluations rather than only focusing on output evaluations. At UCI, as I mentioned, we are using this process evaluation and mid-evaluation process. We send an email to the students saying that, look, based on your current level of interaction, you might actually be failing this particular essay. Do you need additional support for you to engage more effectively with your essay writing process? And these kind of emails have also been studied and shown in experiments to be a lot more effective than only looking at outcome evaluation. Now, so far I have been mainly talking about teacher-facing interactions, but this example actually reminds me and brings me back to the student-facing AI implementations. Now, we have mentioned that the teacher-facing AI can help people gain productivity and save time, but productivity gains are of secondary importance for students. For a student who have access to any kind of large language model these days, they can actually pass their courses and pass their exams effectively, and they can save a significant amount of time in their assignment preparations, but that doesn't mean that they will actually learn anything out of these interactions. I put here one evaluation from my colleagues at ICEMAC, which is one of the top EU institutes that particularly is focusing on STEM subjects. And they have been looking at the performance of GPT-4 at the EPFL, at the Polytechnique de Lausanne, to be able to see what percentage of their exam questions can actually be answered accurately with GPT-4. And you can see here their results that actually over 80% of their exam questions could indeed be answered with GPT-4. So any student who has access to these models can pass all the exams and get an engineering degree from a top 10 EU institute. But what does it mean? That doesn't really mean anything in terms of their learning gains. We know that if we are giving students access to an AI, then this AI should actually take the pedagogical supporter role rather than giving answers to all of the questions of the students. We know a lot from existing learning sciences with regards to effective pedagogical implementations. So a core question to us is, how do we embed these learning sciences principles into these large language models so that they behave more pedagogically meaningful manners? Because we know also from the previous literature, looking at the intelligent tutoring systems for the last 4 decades of literature, that if you use this adaptability in the intelligent tutoring systems, learning gains can indeed be achieved. We know these systems are comparable to one-to-group cohort human teaching, and might actually outperform a lot of these instructional approaches, both at the individual studies level, but also at the meta studies level. Therefore, you see a lot of this commercial interest in this space as well. This is one example from OpenAI. I don't know if, how many of you have seen this particular video? No, that's great. We can spend 30 seconds to have a look at it. Let's have a look at how OpenAI is trying to embed learning sciences principles into their large language models, and that's the vision of the future of education from OpenAI, the ChatGPT point of view. Are we going to be able to listen to the video, or? I'm very grateful for the fact that I can present my slides, so I'm not going to expect sound. But considering the morning's technical challenges, maybe we can skip. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much. Here, essentially, you can see Sal Khan, who is the CEO of the Khan Academy. in the United States, and they have been trying GPT-4 version where the cloud asks the model to behave like a tutor, and you can see the multimodal AI tutor actually can trace all the interaction of the student based on the screens and provide guidance to the student. The problem with this kind of large language model adaptivity interventions is the fact that these large language models are not performing very well with regards to their adaptivity, because at the huge scale of the high-dimensional vector space of the words, where you are preparing your prompts to be embedded into the model, most of the nuanced pedagogical guidance that you are trying to provide gets lost. So this is a very recent evaluation of the adaptivity of GPT-4, for instance, which is one of the most advanced large language models. And you can see that the adaptivity of GPT-4o is far inferior to more traditional intelligent tutoring systems, where you would be able to specifically build a learner model and a domain model and use more traditional AI techniques to be able to provide the adaptivity on key issues on feedback provision, hint provision, or content adaptivity. So this is all hypes that surround the large language models with regards to their adaptivity is only working to a certain extent at the very basic instruction level, but we are nowhere near to be able to provide detailed adaptivity that you would expect from an intelligent tutoring system with the help of these large language models. There are also significant issues that are associated with the fact that for the last 3 decades, we already knew how to build effective intelligent tutoring systems. You know, my colleagues from Carnegie Mellon University have been building cognitive tutors for at least 3 decades, if not more. There are many examples like Duolingo. There are many examples that have been designed and developed to provide intelligent tutoring on subjects of science, subjects of maths, algebra. And we knew from the experimental evaluations that these technologies can indeed help students improve their learning gains. So a core question for all of us to think about is, if we knew that these models are already working, and if we already had evidence about their effectiveness, why the mainstream education has not really been utilizing these intelligent tutoring systems in practice? So there are, of course, various reasons behind this that are associated with the fact that, number one, a lot of these interventions are ecosystem-level issues. You can build the best intelligent tutoring system with the most advanced AI in the world that can deliver the best pedagogy that you are aiming to provide. But if the enabling factors within the education ecosystem are not supported, those that are associated with the teacher's workload, those that are associated with the pedagogical culture of the school, those that are associated with the infrastructural and content-related issues, those that are associated with the infrastructural differences of the schools and the countries in which these tools are used, before these are addressed, none of these educational technologies, including the state-of-the-field AI technologies, will be able to make any kind of real-world impact. In our own work, for instance, working with over 800 teachers, a representative of the, well, how can I have 5 minutes? I was told, my talk lasts until 15 past 12.
5 minutes, I thought.
Right, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you. Thanks for this intervention.
Because I thought we'd have a little Q&A after.
Oh, don't worry about it. Yes, I will do this. Thank you. These are significant ecosystem-level issues that we need to take into account. Another really important issue is associated with the fact that if you look at the evaluation studies, you will see that the fidelity of these interventions are extremely low. And this is because if you are providing researchers to provide support to the teachers in the delivery of the AI intelligent tutoring system implementation, then they do achieve the expected learning outcomes. But when you leave the tools into the trusted hands of teachers, you will see that this effectiveness drops significantly. And the main reason behind this is that the teachers are lacking core competencies and they are lacking for confidence in order to be able to use these technologies effectively. I have been chairing a UNESCO AI and ICT in education working group with regards to the competency development, and we have been publishing 2 recent UNESCO reports on the AI competencies for teachers and students. I put here the UNESCO AI competency framework for teachers, that you can see the 5 aspects and the 3 progression levels. This report is freely available, that you can download from the UNESCO website, and it has significant guidance on what competencies we should be improving in our teachers for them to be able to make the most out of AI technologies, both from the effectiveness point of view, but also from the ethics point of view. And at last, I would like to highlight that a lot of these technologies still require a significant amount of trust building among the stakeholders. Intelligent tutoring systems are only effective if the students are motivated to engage with these systems. But if you look at the literature, about 5% of an average student is able to motivate themselves and regulate their own learning to be able to engage with these systems long enough to be able to achieve statistically significant learning gains. And the role of a teacher then in the implementation of AI technologies becomes more of these people who are providing the motivation and guidance on effective interaction with the intelligent tutoring systems, so that the students really indeed spend the required time with the AI systems. Let me finish with this particular slide where we have been talking about this particular vision of the use of AI, where AI is used to provide intelligent tutoring systems. And it's really important when we are thinking about the future of education, not to fall into these illusional hyped future of education, where a human being is interacting with a digital interface in order to be able to improve their learning gains. These intelligent tutoring systems can indeed be very effective, but the education serves a very different purpose within the society. It is an opportunity to protect certain values, to transfer culture, to flourish human beings with regard to their social and emotional competencies. We need to think about AI implementations that do not only focus on the content acquisition for improving the students' knowledge, but also provide guidance and improve human-to-human interaction. If we use AI technologies for teachers to save time in their practice, perhaps we could use this time for teachers to be able to spend more amount of time with their students and coach them to flourish as a human being. Let us not forget that the learning is much broader than knowledge acquisition, and education is much broader than learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Shall we take a seat and just have a bit of Q&A? That was a really insightful talk. Really eye-opening too. For somebody who is looking at AI from the health domain, but as somebody who's in charge of curriculum development at my university, I have a big issue. So this is really insightful talk and well done. Really lucky to have your expertise. So, any questions from the audience? Okay, great, fantastic. Do we have a roving mic? Don't be afraid to great, I'm seeing more hands. I don't want you all to be scared. Please ask questions. No one's gonna bite your head off. So go for it.
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask about this. You talk about generative AI in terms of education. Well, actually, in computational physics, we also study about AI for generating some materials. And then, allow me to introduce myself first. Sorry. My name is Christopani. Currently, I'm working at BUMN ID survey. We are testing, inspection, and certification company. Currently, we use AI to automate inspection in the gas and some transportation. Now, the real question is, what about the AI, which can reasoning like a DeepSeek and now Grok also from Elon Musk has a reasoning capability. Did they already have enough reasoning skill to potentially, I don't say replace, I would like to say substitute teacher duty to educate mathematics? Because last month I tried fine-tuning the Grok. Now it can do calculus, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. Maybe let me highlight a couple of distinctions here. One of them is that it's one thing to build these models and train them to help you solve a particular problem as an expert. So in your example of fine-tuning a model to be able to do calculus is an example of this. You are improving the model's capability of doing and solving particular problems. But it's a completely different task to fine-tune these models in a way that they would help someone to improve their own competence in solving the problem. And the latter is what education is all about. We would like to be able to fine-tune these models or train models that are capable of supporting a human being to learn how to do these skills in the first place. There is a very big difference if a math expert is solving a problem with the help of AI, or an expert coder to do coding with the help of AI, versus what I teach to my students who do not have any particular background in, let's say, coding or in physics, in math, and to teach them the fundamental principles. And I think the latter, we are not doing very well with regard to fine-tuning AI, and I don't think, as I had just presented an experiment where people have been looking at the adaptability of the model and compared to traditional attention tutoring systems, I don't think they are nowhere near what we would expect them to be in terms of their pedagogical guidance.
Okay, thank you. We need to go to the next question. We're limited on time. Yes, there's a question there. Please, yes, it'd be good if you can state who you are, please. Keep the question through, please, so we have more opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much for the chance. My name is Nadira Pasnya Salsabila. I'm a master student from Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask only one because of the limited time. If you said about professionalism before, so to what extent can teachers use AI in preparing learning so that the professionalization does not occur? What can be done so that we as educators learn to use AI without losing our identity and professionalism? Thank you very much.
Brilliant question. Thanks for this. I think that's one of the billion-dollar questions in education system. One thing that I can say is that you should never forget as a teacher that you are the pedagogical expert. So a lot of these deprofessionalization discussions, they come down to the fact that the deployment matters significantly. So you would know, as a professional teacher, what aspects of your pedagogical practice can benefit from efficiency gains, and what aspects of your professional practice should be only done by you. For instance, if you are using an inquiry-based pedagogy in your own teaching as a teacher, you would probably think about content generation aspects of inquiry, or simulation aspects of your inquiry-based pedagogy to be automated with the help of AI, because technology can help with this. But you would not necessarily get the entire pedagogy to be fully automated, so you are missing out the opportunity of practicing of your own expertise. Every single time, I think, as an educator, you are using AI, you should ask yourself, what are the long-term implications of this practice for my own personal capabilities? If your answer is that, oh my God, 5 years on, I will not be able to do it myself, probably that's not a good thing to do.
Okay, other questions? Don't be so intimidated.
Okay, I also have maybe two questions about it. We know that AI is a very, very useful in one side, but on the other one, of course, based on the little bit research in Indonesia, AI nowadays has reduced literacy tradition of students, literacy and numeracy traditions of lectures. Since everything can be easily carried, just typing something a little bit and then every single information that we need is copy paste. Do you have another solution with this AI existed during the improving of the teacher's professional students' confidence? But on the other hand, they can also improve their literacy skill, reading and other writing as well. So it's still be balanced between using AI to improve the skill and then the tradition and the habituation for reading also improving at the same time. Thank you.
I'm not sure if I understood the question entirely, but the part that I understood is asking what are the impacts of the use of AI on our literacy? And you are saying that there's a decrease, which I do agree. And your question is how we could potentially avoid this. So, in my opinion, first of all, and this is the kind of policy guidance that I provide to UNESCO or ECD kind of organizations as well, that I think we need to draw the boundary of the age restrictions with regard to the use of these technologies, first and foremost. A lot of these core competencies with regards to reading and numeracy are developed at very early ages, and at those ages are particularly hesitant for children to interact with AI. So there should be, first of all, some kind of age restriction with regard to the use of these technologies. And I think fundamental literacy skills should indeed be developed with human-to-human interaction among children. That's the first. And second of all, there's this issue of how do we deal with all of the misinformation and disinformation, the literacy implications for adults, and I think it's a huge concern as well. And I was trying to point here that not all the answers that are generated by AI would be appropriate. Factual accuracy is one issue that we need to address. But even if you address the factual accuracy, there are so many issues that are associated with bias, issues associated with the value-laden nature of these responses. So improving people's awareness of those limitations and the issues of AI, I think is the first step towards the solution, because using the social translucence theory, if you improve the awareness of people, that will lead to some kind of accountability in their mind, and this accountability is likely to change their behaviors. I'm hoping that we need to educate all citizens about these issues of AI so that they have the ability to protect their literacy skills.
Thank you.
I think it's time for more questions. Please raise your hand so I can see it. Someone?
There was someone there. Is it how long?
Right, awesome.
Can I say one more thing before you ask the question? Most of you are educators, right? You know how important it is to be interactive in this session. When I asked questions during my speech, I was so disappointed with the fact that you were so hesitant. Like, don't be shy. We can talk. We are here to share knowledge. You heard all of this in the welcoming speech and the rhetoric about discussion and sharing knowledge, and you are so hesitant to interact. Please, do not be afraid. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rizky Febrian. I'm from Nusa Putra University of Indonesia. In my question, Indonesian role, and it projects undergo digital transformation. What implementation does this have for human job opportunities in the face of increasing in technological automation? Thank you.
Sorry, could you just repeat that again? Could you repeat the question again, sorry, please?
Okay, as AI adoption grows and industries undergo digital transformation, what implication does this have for human job opportunities in the face of increasing technological automation?
Thank you very much for explaining. I think many people are trying to solve exactly this problem. It's a big question, and they oftentimes estimate range and vary broadly. So I cannot answer your question directly to say that these are the kind of jobs that will be disappearing and these are will be staying. But I can tell a couple of things. One of them is that those professions where the core of the profession involves human-to-human interaction, I think these are the heaviest jobs in many senses. Because however good these models are, these models still lack a fundamental theory of mind, which is a core feature of human beings. So when we interact with other human beings, we have a mental model of them, and they have a mental model of us, and we have a mental model of the mental model that they might have about us. So these meta-level mental models change the interaction nature. Still, these models that we are building, very advanced AI models, lack this kind of capability. So those jobs where the human-to-human interaction is at the core of the job, I think are the safest ones. And in addition to these, of course, there are still significant issues with the motor skills of these from the robotics point of view. So high dexterity jobs might also be a secondary safest jobs. Whereas the other kind of professions where the job is completed without any human interaction, I think these are the ones that are most in danger. But universities are grappling with these questions because if we can answer this question effectively, then we can think about what we should be educating people about in our education systems so that the industries are receiving high-caliber, good quality workforce. But a lot of the answers are not really provided to these kind of difficult questions.
Well, thank you so much. We have reached time. And I think now we're going to be turning, I guess it's the break for lunch or something next, but I've got to say thank you so much. I think there's so many questions. Thank you for the questions from the audience. Thank you for the insightful presentation, and we can continue the conversation too afterwards, as always, I'm sure. So thank you again, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mugul and Dr. Baris Sulaiman for insightful keynote. I believe we should flying around our head, right? But and I believe you will collect some of them and catch up for Professor Mugul privately. Please don't be shy. And now, to bring us to the end of our morning session, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to all participants for making this morning a truly meaningful and inspiring start at Nusa Putra Global Conference 2025. Thank you for your attention and happy working. Now, we kindly invite our participants to take a break and prepare for the final session, which will begin at 1 p.m. in the side room.
Okay. And then for lunch session, please use the coupon provided, and you can pick up your meals at M3 room, and then we can eat